University. Is it really worth it? What's up guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, this channel is all about career, university and lifestyle. And in this video, we're going to be talking about whether it's actually worth going to university or not. So if that sounds interesting to you, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel and leave a comment down below. But with that, let's get straight into the video. So for those who don't know, I studied computer science at Loughborough University. I finished my degree a couple weeks ago by the time you're watching this video. And I've got to say that I quite enjoyed my experience. And now I'm working in real estate for a few months, but as I was working, I was thinking to myself, is it really worth going to university to get a degree in order to get a job? And for that reason, I wanted to create this video to really delve into my experience studying computer science and how I think that's translated to opportunities for me after university. So with that little overview about my situation, let me talk to you a little bit about why I like university. And then afterwards, I'm going to talk about how I could see university not being necessary in terms of having a successful career. So let me talk to you about the things I liked about university. And there are about 3 or 4 points that I want to make, with the last one being the most important, so stick around for that. The first reason I am glad that I went to university is because of the independence that comes with it. Now, I know that some of you are studying and living at home because perhaps you are living in London and you go to university in London, so you're not really going to student accommodation. But if you are or were like me, who went to university in the Midlands or somewhere outside of London, or you just went to a university that was far away from where you live, and so you needed to stay at university to complete your degree, you will know that you will have a lot more independence whilst you're studying than if you were staying at home. And this is because there is no one there nagging you to get to school on time, or no one telling you to do homework, or no one telling you to do chores at home or anything like that. You're living by yourself and you need to support yourself. Obviously, there will be support systems around you because you're at university, but for the most part, you are just there on your own. And this can be quite an overwhelming experience for many people, but you eventually get used to it. And after the homesickness has worn out, if you experience any homesickness, you might find that you really enjoy the independence that comes with studying away from home. And with this independence, I would normally advise people to start building good habits, because you are in control of your time. So if you want to do things like go to the gym, get involved with societies or anything of that nature, you can, and you can decide when you're going to do it because you have control over your time. Having said that, it's also really important that you are able to manage your time effectively, because even though you want to do things with your time, you need to remember that you're at university to get your degree. Now, moving on to the second thing that I liked about university, that is the fact that you're not just limited to one career path after you graduate. And I believe that this is where university is quite good compared to, say, doing an apprenticeship or going straight into work. Because if you're studying computer science, for example, during your summer holidays, you can find yourself doing internships in a different industry. For example, banking or law or consultancy or something like that. So if you're doing a computer science apprenticeship at a company, you'll be studying and working at the same time. And during your summers, you'll be working at the company that has offered you the apprenticeship. And so if you wanted to do an internship at a bank, or if you wanted to do an internship at a law firm or anything like that, you can't really do that because you're under contract with the company that gave you the apprenticeship. So if you're someone who wants to have a little bit more in terms of career options, then doing a standard degree in a good subject will give you that opportunity. For me, as an example, I'm currently working in real estate and I'm going to go into law, and those industries are quite different from me studying computer science at university. You know, I'm not a software engineer right now, and the reason that I've had these opportunities is because of the flexibility that the style of my degree allowed me to have whilst I was studying. So I think that's something that you should definitely keep in mind if you don't want to lock yourself into a specific career path. The third thing that I really liked about university was the whole social life aspect of it. So if you're going into university, or if you're currently at university, you'll know that there are societies and sports that you can get involved in, and this can allow you to network with like-minded students, and it can also improve your chances in terms of getting jobs after university, because you'll you'll have more things to talk about in terms of what you did whilst you were studying. So in my case, I really enjoyed getting involved with societies. I found that leading a society allowed me to really develop my team working skills and my business skills as well. And being a part of a group of people that share the same vision and work together to execute it is really an amazing thing to be a part of. And personally, I feel like if I didn't go to university, it would have been less likely for me to get involved in a society committee than if I did. And that's mainly because of the time commitment that comes with being part of a society committee. Now, the final thing that I really like about university is the fact that by going to university, you're opening yourself up to many high-paid job opportunities. So if you look at the internship/graduate opportunities for many jobs at the biggest companies in the world, a lot of these organizations will require that you have at least a 2-1 in your degree subject. And so a degree is pretty much a requirement in order to get these jobs. So by going to university, if you want to go into a law firm, or if you want to go into a bank as an investment banker or as an asset manager, having a degree really does make that an option for you. Whereas if you didn't go to university, it would probably be a lot harder to get onto a scheme of one of these large companies. And I think that's a really important factor to consider. And I'm actually going to talk about that a little bit more further on, so stick around until the end of this video to hear more about that point, because I think it's really important. So yeah, those are the good things that I see about university. But now that I've shared them with you, let me talk to you about the potential benefits that could come with not going to university. So if I didn't go to university, what I would probably do is I would get a job straight after sixth form or college and start saving up my money and then look into starting my own business. And if you have your own business, there is pretty much no limit to the amount of success that you can have. I always find it inspiring when young people start their own business and it's actually successful, because of how difficult it can be to do it and how much of a risk is associated with that process. So I guess if you didn't go into university and if you were smart about it, you could save up some money, build some capital up, and then pursue a business or a career that you're truly passionate about without having to wait 3 or 4 years in order to finish your degree to then beginning your career. But the key thing here is that you would actually need to be very strategic about it, and you would need to make the right decisions for that to work, because there would be many risks associated with that. Those risks would be the fact that your business might not succeed, and it would be more difficult for you to get a high-paying job at a young age. But having said that, there are still jobs out there that will pay you very well even if you don't have a university degree. Sales is one that comes straight to mind. The other benefit that comes with not going to university is the fact that you will not have any debt. And as you are probably aware, student debt is very high by the time that you graduate. So not having that debt on your back is definitely a good thing. But personally, the way that I see student debt in the UK, I actually don't think it's that bad of a debt, simply because there are conditions in place that mean that you won't always have to pay it back. So as an example, there is a threshold in terms of your income after you graduate that you need to go above in order to start paying your student debt back. The other thing that I think is good about student debt is the fact that it gets written off after 30 years if you haven't paid it in full. And so the way that I see student debt in the UK is it's not really on your back for the rest of your life. And so I don't really look at it in too much of a negative light, even though the debt can be very high. But having no student debt is not such a bad thing. So yeah, I would say that those are pretty good things that come with not going to university. And I would also like to add the fact that for many jobs, the degree that you have won't really help you in the job that you're doing. So if you studied computer science, for example, and then you go into something like asset management, there will be so much to learn in your new job that wasn't covered in your degree. And so when you hear that employers value experience over what you study, you should start to see why. So for those people who didn't go into university but went straight into work, they will have a lot more experience than, say, someone who did go to university and then entered the same job as the person who didn't. I'll actually put a few links in the description of some studies talking about whether it is better to go to university or not, for you to look at in addition addition to this video. But now that I've shared the positives of going to university versus the positives of not going to university, I'm now going to talk about what my thoughts are on this subject. So for me personally, I think that going to university was the right decision, and that's mainly because of the range of opportunities that I was able to see whilst I was at university, which I would have otherwise not had. Before going to university, I also wanted to explore the different career options that there were, and so going to university really allowed me to do that. So for that reason, I'm glad that I did do it and that I did study computer science as well. But if you're someone watching this now and you're unsure about whether to go to university or not, I'd really say that it depends on your situation and, very important, the level of risk that you're prepared to take. So when I was talking before about how if you don't go to university, then you need to be really strategic in how you execute things. Now I'm going to touch on that a little bit more. I think it's really important to consider your current situation. If you're someone who, for example, lives with your parents and you know that for the next few years you can stay with your parents, living with them, and you really don't want to study but you want to have your own business, for example, then it is worth considering not going to university and going straight into work to build up some capital in order to invest in your business if you need to build up capital because you don't have it already. You would be the type of person who has a pretty strong idea of what they want to do in their life, and that's a really good thing. You will, however, need to be very strategic and understand the risks that are associated with that path. And that's not to say that that path is not a good path because of the risks associated with it. It's just really important that you're strategic about how you're doing things. So you want to make sure that you have a safety net around you because you're not going to university. For me and many other people, university can be that safety net, because if you're someone who wants to start your own business but you think that you should go to university, if the business route doesn't work for you or it takes a little bit of time to be successful, you'll always have a degree under your belt to help you secure a well-paying job. But if you're 18 right now and you're making money, you've got a great social media presence, things are going very well for you financially and in terms of your career, then a safety net like university might not be necessary. And this is not me trying to give you advice, this is just my opinion. So what I would say about the route of not going into university, my opinion is that you really need to be strategic in how you think about it, and you should also have a safety net around you, or at least try to create one. That's what I personally think, but you're free to think about it however you want. So yeah, that pretty much sums up my views in terms of whether university is useful or not. I hope that you found it useful, and if you do have any questions, do leave them in the comments below or message me on Instagram. But with that, thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time for another video.